Did one of the teeth get stuck in you by chance?
No.
No?
No, that'd be cool.
Bummer, that would have been
no.
good. Well, Willie!
Becoming paralyzed is many people's worst nightmare, but to me, it's my reality. I'm Cruz, and today, I'm bringing you into my world. Let's hope you can get some perspective, and let's have a chat.
Hey guys, my name is Cruz Bogle. Welcome back to a special Shark Week edition of Paralyze This. Today, here with me, I have Kyle Senkowicz, who was viciously attacked by a bull shark a couple of years ago, and we're here to get his story. So how you doing, man? Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah?
Locked in.
Locked and loaded, dude. How do you feel?
I feel good, except for I feel trapped.
A little trapped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gave me the one that doesn't move.
I know. I also forgot the little hand things. I apologize to you and the viewers. His hands are a little free moving right now. They shouldn't be.
Try to keep them intact.
Yeah, just pretend you can't move, dude.
I'll see what I can do.
Alright. So yeah, dude, tell me about the shark attack. When did it happen? Why did it happen? How did it happen? Let's hear it.
It happened I think 3 years ago or something in April. We were diving with, we go out to the wrecks out there and we chum the sharks up. And the sharks bring cobia with them. They kind of...
That's the fish that swims on the bottom of the shark?
They just hang out with the sharks. They're just kind of they have a relationship where the sharks, when the sharks eat something, they eat the scraps off of the sharks.
Alright.
So, and we try and shoot the cobia, and I don't know, a long time ago somebody figured out that if you bring the sharks up, the cobia come with them, and then you shoot the cobia off of the sharks.
Right.
So we were out on the Andy in Palm Beach, and we chummed the sharks up, and not every shark has cobia on them, so you kind of got to chum a bunch of sharks up to get the one to come up with the cobia. And I think it was our second drift through. We chummed up a bunch of sharks, and one came up with a whole pack of cobia. We shot a couple off of it.
How long did you chum for? How long does it take for all the sharks?
They come up pretty quick, man. We got a pretty bad shark problem off South Florida right now.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, so you get them up in a matter of minutes, if that even. Sometimes just the sound of the boat.
With what, one bucket of blood or what?
Yeah, we usually just bring whole bonita or whole cuda, and we just cut it right off the fish and all the scales and pieces falling, get them chummed up. They come up. The little fish will come first, and then the sharks will come through.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So you go to shoot a cobia off of a shark?
Yeah, we had already shot a few, and the sharks were getting real weird because we had just had one of the cobia that we shot get eaten. So every once in a while, one gets eaten.
Right off of the spear?
Right off of the spear, yeah.
All right.
You shoot him, he just takes out line, and he got eaten. And I think that happened 2 or 3 times in a row, and then you only get a certain drift through the area, because it's the current's moving. So once you get too far away from the wreck, usually the sharks will go away. Sometimes they'll follow you all the way as long as the drift goes.
Yeah.
Just depends. But this day we were doing drifts, so it was our third drift, and it's usually the same group of sharks that come up. And we saw the same couple packs of cobia too, and I don't know why. We had done it a few times that day, and I was feeling kind of ballsy, and there was a deep one. I dove down 50 feet or so.
Free dove down 50
feet? Shot that one, and he was running away from me, and as he was running away from me, he was 50, 60 feet away. There was a whole pack of sharks chasing him, and they got him. And as they were eating him in a frenzy, one came from behind me, and I think he got confused and thought I was part of that frenzy or something, and yeah, he grabbed my elbow and my hand and my arm. I did at the last minute. And I kind of tried to I'm not really 100% sure what I tried to do. I put my arm up to block my face because he was coming right at me.
Right.
And that's when he took my arm. But I think I tried to hit him with the blunt end of my spear gun, but not completely sure what happened. Yeah, either way.
So where did he get you exactly?
I can't move my arms.
Just point to it.
My arm.
Elbow, shoulder?
Elbow, well if I can move my arm I can show you, but he took I put my elbow up in front of my face, and he kind of took my elbow straight down his mouth, and the bites are more on my wrist and my bicep and underneath of my arm, so and then a little bit on my elbow.
So elbow went in his mouth? In his mouth,
yeah. And I think the elbow got nicked on the way out, and that's why there's a big cut on the elbow. But the main cut was my wrist and my up on my bicep.
And you're 50 feet deep or so?
Yeah.
When this happened?
Yeah.
So how do you react to that? What did you do?
Honestly, it was just a shock, kind of. I was just the first thing I could think of was I was just like, that fucker just bit me. You know, like that's
Right.
what I could think of. I was like, what in the heck? That thing just bit me. I was like, you know, and it was so quick though. It was like an instant. Like he like grabbed me, like maybe shook like once and then just took off.
So it
like,
didn't even really like hurt in the moment?
No, not at all. And he definitely knew I wasn't what he was trying to grab, you know.
Right.
He would have ripped my arm off. Those things are crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Didn't put your phone on silent?
Nah, didn't.
So how many, like what kind of bite, how many stitches, how many surgeries, what did you have to do?
It was just one surgery. I think it was like 230 something stitches and staples or something.
Really?
Yeah, but that wasn't really the bad part. The bad part was he got all my tendons in this wrist right here. So he sliced all the tendons in my wrist, and that's what really scared me was when I got to the boat, I realized I had no movement in my hand whatsoever.
Really?
So
like you had no wrist movement at all, or just fingers?
Just fingers. He tore all the tendons in my wrist, but my wrist could move fine. It was just my fingers. Like I would kind of move, I guess kind of my wrist too, because I remember trying to open my fingers and seeing the tendons like kind of try and suck back, but like it didn't do anything. My fingers didn't move.
That's gnarly.
Yeah.
So over 200 stitches and staples, you said?
Yeah, and then they did reconnective surgery to connect all my tendons back together.
In the same surgery, or that
Same
was
surgery. Yeah.
Wow. So immediately your hands were back then, or your hands?
No. What I got, like once I got out of surgery, they connected all the tendons in my wrist, and then I had like 6 months of physical therapy.
Yeah.
So like right at the first, I didn't even start physical therapy for about 3 or 4 weeks, and once I started, I had almost no movement in my fingers at all. So,
were you scared that you weren't going to get it back?
Kind of, but they told me that it should be all right, that the surgery was good and successful, and that they've seen this a lot. And they said I was going to lose some movement, which I did, because they shortened the tendons a bit.
Right.
Because when they connected them back together, they weren't as long. So I did lose some movement, but nothing that I noticed in day-to-day life anymore.
No.
Yeah.
So like what's limited?
I can't high five really, because this is about all I can go right here. My index, whatever it is, it's fine, and all my other ones, that's about all they go. And then if I come back, I really lose motion. But it's not something that I notice at all.
That's good. It's just normal now.
Yeah, it's just normal. Just when I high five, it feels kind of weird, and like
Right.
certain things feel kind of weird, but it's not too bad.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So were you like scared to get back in the water after that?
No, not scared
at
to
all?
get back in the water.
You didn't even think twice about it?
No, I mean that's not gonna keep you out of the water.
I mean, it's not gonna keep you out of the water. It'll keep a lot of people out of the water.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's like I was kind of asking for it. So in a sense, it was like I don't really shoot Cobia anymore. I've been a few times since then, and kind of gives me a weird feeling when I do it. And like the sharks are really weird out front here in Florida. There's way too many of them. They're super aggressive. They're not afraid of people at all, and they associate people with food now.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. I've been a few times, but that kind of gives me a weird vibe. But like, we still go to the Bahamas and dive all the time and stuff, and I have no problem with that.
Right.
You know.
What kind of sharks are out here?
Mostly bulls.
That's what bit you.
Yeah, it was a bull.
How big do you think it was?
I don't know, like 8 or 9 feet, something like that. Pretty big, 500 pounds. They get fat out here. They get fed well.
Yeah, that's a big girl.
Yeah.
Wow. So what are you doing now? Like fishing wise, diving wise?
We do a lot of diving in the Bahamas. I don't really do much diving off here anymore. Just not that good. We do a lot of spearfishing in the Bahamas and fishing in the Bahamas and stuff like that. And there's sharks over there too. There's always a lot of sharks. They have a huge problem over there with sharks as well.
Worse than here or no?
Yeah, probably worse than here. They're pretty bad.
Damn.
Everyone keeps, you can't kill sharks over in the Bahamas, and you really can't kill that many sharks here either. So it's like they have no predators anymore. They're just populating and associating boats and people with food, and just getting worse and worse.
So how does that, what's your opinion on like, they're super thick around here, but I don't know where it is overseas where they're like, really.
Where they're decimated?
Yeah.
Because they long line them in places and they really just kill all of them. But I think there needs to be a middle ground. I think there should be some fishing and killing of sharks, just not to that extent.
Right.
All the people that tell you that the sharks are in danger, this and that, they're insane. Tell them to come on my boat one time and they will never say that again.
Yeah.
So it's not true at all. It's just a myth.
Or
maybe in certain places.
In that area.
Yeah, but in South Florida, in Florida in general, in the Bahamas and anywhere, most of the places in the Caribbean, they're like protected and they're way overpopulated.
So
Yeah.
you think it's only a matter of time until?
It's not a matter of time. It's been happening. There's 7 attacks in the Bahamas, I think, in the month of June.
Really?
In the Bahamas, yeah, and 1 fatal. Girl died. So it's happening more and more.
But like, you think it's only a matter of time until they like say, all right, you can start killing sharks?
Depends on what like the biologists and everything say is okay to kill and what's not okay to kill.
Oh, you're not a biologist?
Nah,
Oh.
I wish.
Was the shark attack like the most traumatic thing that ever happened to you?
I don't know. We've had some pretty traumatic shit in my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you consider? I mean, you call it a traumatic incident, right?
Yeah. It was not good, that's for sure.
Did one of the teeth get stuck in you by chance?
No.
No?
That'd be cool.
Bummer, that would have been
no.
good. Wet Willie!
This
Got him. There you go. You got yours.
No teeth stuck in me that I know of, unless there's
Bummer.
still one in there.
That would have been pretty tight.
Yeah.
Make a necklace out of it.
Yeah.
Joey actually made this necklace I got on.
Did he?
Yeah.
Is that from like Peace River or something?
I don't know.
'Cause I know they find a bunch of them up there.
Yeah, he goes like searching the woods and those little rivers. And,
Yeah, and they pan for them and stuff.
yeah, pretty dope.
Sick.
Since you've been attacked, you're a part of a pretty elite group of people. How many people have you met who have been bitten by a shark?
I think Carlos got bit like somewhat on his ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah, not many.
All right.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad would you say your attack was? 10 being the worst.
I mean, I'm alive,
All right.
so 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Probably. 5.
But like in the moment, like were you ever like freaking out? Like
No,
were
I
you
was
losing a shit ton of blood? Were you like in the ambulance?
One of the sketchy parts of it was like I was still down like 50 feet when I got bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like coming to the surface, and as I was coming to the surface, my buddy Mike Wood, who I was diving with, was coming down to get me. He had like seen it, him and Callie.
Saw the whole thing?
Yeah, Callie saw most of it, pretty much the whole thing. Mike saw like the tail end of it, and they were like coming down to get me. And as they were coming down, I still had my spear gun in my hand, and my Cobia was still getting eaten right underneath me, and I was just like dumping out blood, and like I just remember thinking like, dude, I got to get in this boat because like,
More sharks.
yeah, they might come for me. And then like, as I was going, I was like looking back, and I saw like Mike was right behind me, so I know he was like fending him off and stuff. But like, I just knew. And then one of the worst parts was like trying to get in the boat. Like, I'm a big guy, and like trying to get in the boat one-handed, and there was a guy in the boat helping me, but I like kept slipping, and like one time I like hit the gunnel with my arm, I remember, and it just hurt so bad. I was like, oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And then they finally got me up in the boat, and I was laying on the ground, and then they got like pressure on my arm, and at that point I knew I was good. I wasn't gonna get mauled by more of them. And then I was just heading in towards Sailfish Marina, where they came and got me. And they had called, my buddies called as soon as they got in the boat, and it was a pretty quick process. We're only like 2 miles offshore, so they ran me right into Sailfish. As soon as I got there, the ambulance was there and the paramedics and stuff. And I do vividly remember one point of it. They were trying to get me out of the boat onto the dock on like the stretcher. And the one paramedic, he like looks over at me in the boat, and they like start carrying me, and he looks back at like his supervisor or whatever. He's like, "It's really, really bad."
Really?
And I was like, wow. Thanks, man. That's great.
Wow. So was there like a time of panic at all?
No, not really.
No?
And then like once I got to the hospital, like I had videos like in the hospital. It was like kind of contained. They had like a tourniquet on it and stopped bleeding, and well, not totally, but it stopped bleeding like it was. And I was actually sitting in the hospital like waiting to go into surgery, and a couple of my friends had showed up. And I was like right about to go into surgery, and then they told me that I had to wait because there was like a more serious event. And I was like, wow, what happened? Apparently like a lady got bit at the zoo by a tiger.
Whoa.
And she died.
Big bite day.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
So she ended up dying, I think. But yeah, so I sat there for like 20-30 minutes before I went into surgery.
Wow.
So
that's wild.
Yeah.
Would you say that your like perspective on life has changed from this event at all?
Yeah, I guess somewhat.
Yeah.
I'm definitely more cautious. Like, my little brother is a little crazy, and he's like, nowadays we're in the Bahamas, and he's doing stuff where I'm like, a little borderline with these sharks. He's like getting fish out of rocks, and they're like going right over him and stuff, and like I'll I'm a little bit more mellow, and like I know the consequences of it, and
Right.
you know, so I definitely think more, and I'm definitely like, you know, safer for sure when I'm diving and whatnot,
Right.
especially dealing with sharks.
But what about like out of the water when you didn't have much movement in your hand? Like,
Yeah.
were you thinking about that, or?
I mean, for a while, I had physical therapy for like 6 months, and I couldn't really do much. I tried to go fishing and stuff as much as I could, but I couldn't do very much. But yeah, it makes you think. Like, what if I lost this arm? Like, what would I do? And this and that, because I didn't have an arm for 6 months.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Had to go lefty.
Lefty.
It was really weird, actually, doing everything lefty.
I bet. But
Yeah.
it probably became normal for a while.
It did for a while, and then once I got movement back in my hand, it started feeling weird, like using my right hand again. Like for a little while, after like about a month or so, I went back to work, and I was doing drawings and stuff for the company I was working for. You know, like building drawings and stuff like that for yachts.
Right.
And I was drawing with my left hand for a while, so I got kind of used to it, even though it was not that good. But it was kind of weird going back to my right. And it took a long time for me to get like writing and drawing down with my right hand again.
I bet.
It's a little bit of a process.
Yeah, you just got to relearn it.
You got to relearn everything.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wild.
And relearn it with like different movement that I didn't. I had less obviously, and then I just got a little more and a little more and a little more. But you know, it's definitely different.
Right. Wow. Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming on the show.
No problem.
Sharing
Appreciate you
your
having me.
little crazy experience.
Yeah.
Glad you're all right and you got the majority of your movement back.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the point of this show to you and to the viewers is just to change people's perspective, just even like the slightest bit.
Yeah.
On whether it's their life or somebody else's life or an experience, something crazy happened, how they treat people, just to alter their view on the world and people around them.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on the show.
No problem.
And happy Shark Week, man.
It is Shark Week.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Yeah.
We'll tune in next week to Paralyze This.